Welcome to Yoga with Kaila. Let's relax and move our body with our breath. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Welcome to Yoga with Kaila. Tonight we are going to work on releasing our throat chakra, and we're going to work on through some binds using our strap, our yoga strap, or a scarf. Or if you have a tie, like a gentleman's tie, you can use that if you don't have a yoga strap. Wonderful. So let's meet at the top of our mats in our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Taking those shoulders up towards the ears, let's slowly relax them down and back, opening wide through that heart center. Heart center lifting nice and tall, soft bend through the knees. Let's pick up all of our toes and fan them out, planting them on the mat. Practicing that foot strength. Try it a couple times. And then rocking into the toes, let's begin to roll through the heels and the toes. Noticing what that feels like underneath you. Starting at our base, right? The base is our foundation to our practice, and it's the foundation to our posture. So let's root down through our feet, through our Padabandha, our feet, our footlock. We're going to draw those inner thighs in, drawing that belly button back towards the spine, soft bend in the knees, shoulders roll back and down. Heart center opens. We find our Mula Bandha, that root lock, that deep inner core strength as we draw up through our inner thighs, through the inside edges of our feet. We'll begin to bring some movement. Let's inhale, arms sweep up high overhead. Exhale, swan diving forward, hinging from our hips. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, swan dive. And continue using your breath. So you don't have to match my pace. You can go with your own pace, with your own breath. We are all individual beings, and we're all capable of following our own rhythmic breath movement in our body. So it's one breath, one movement. So we inhale as we sweep arms up high, and we exhale as we gently fold forward. Pulling that belly button back towards the spine, especially as we hinge forward in our swan dive here. Keeping that Mula Bandha, that root lock here. Feeling strong and grounded through our feet, through our Padabandha. Let's do one more. Inhale. And on the next exhale, we're going to sit back and down into chair. So we inhale, sweep up. Exhale, sitting into your chair. Let's inhale, sweep, rise. Exhale, sit, chair. Inhale. You got it. Using that breath, really beginning to notice the movement that we're building through the shoulders as we're sweeping those arms up high. Now, if this becomes too much for your arms or shoulders, you could choose to go without the arms. So if you're going without the arms, maybe you're just working through that squat. You inhale to stand, and we work sitting our sit bones back and down. We're meeting our body with where we're at today. So taking it back a notch if we feel that we need to take it back a notch. The most important part here is that we're listening to that body and moving with that breath as we warm up in this practice. Well, last one, inhale, lift. Exhale, swan dive all the way forward, grounding our hands down to our mat. So we're going to plant hands on the mat, hands on our shin, or hands on a block, completely up to you. Coming down into that forward fold position. Just allow maybe your body to sway side to side, releasing through that low back region. Let's slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. So as we continue our warm-up here, we're going to come into a moon salutation. So often we do sun salutations in our yoga practice, but it's sometimes nice to really step into a moon salutation and use both the left and the right side of part of our brain. So from our Tadasana, you're going to step your right foot back, long edge of the mat, and turn your body to the right hand side of the room, both feet pointing towards the right. Inhale, arms reach up into our 5-pointed star. Exhale, drawing those elbows into our sides as we squat down. Inhale, reach, rise. Exhale, squat. So moonflowers. Good. Next one. Inhale. Exhale, down to your moonflower. Inhale. Exhale, turning to your right. We're going to find lunge. Exhale. Yes, we pivoted on that back foot. We found lunge. Wonderful. From lunge, we're going to inhale, step your left foot in. Exhale, extending long through that front leg, coming forward. We find pyramid posture, option to ground on the ground or onto your shins. We're going to inhale, walk those hands forward, shifting the weight forward into our right leg, flexing that left foot, turning the toes to the left-hand side of the room. Option to stay here, or option to come into your balancing half moon. Right hand comes in front of the right foot, our left arm floats open. Exhale all the way down, prayer squat. Wonderful. Inhale up by a pointed star. Exhale, drawing those elbows into your sides. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turning to the left-hand side, pivoting on that right foot. Lunge. Inhale, stepping your back foot in slightly. Exhale, hinging forward, 2 long legs, pyramid posture. Walking your hands forward, shifting our weight into that left leg. That right leg rises. Flex the foot, turning it to the right-hand side of the room. Option to stay here. Option to bring your left hand in line with your right foot or your left foot. Your right hand up to your right hip, and we rotate open. Balancing half moon. Exhale, prayer squat. Let's inhale by a pointed star, exhale moonflowers. So let's do a couple moonflowers while we talk here. So we're going to do this again into our moon salutation, but this time in moon salutation, we're going to move a little quicker. We're going to move with that one breath, one movement idea. So take any option that resonates with you and feel free to play around. It's okay if you fall out. You can always go back in. All right, last one. Inhale. Exhale, turning to the right, pivoting on that left toe, lunge. Inhale to rise. Exhale, extending both legs, coming down into our pyramid posture. Walk those arms forward. Inhale, lifting that back leg up. Exhale, opening up. Inhale. Exhale down, prayer squat. Inhale to rise. Exhale, exhale, moonflower. My bad. Inhale to rise. Exhale, pivoting on that left foot, coming down, lunge. Inhale, step that back foot in. Exhale, hinging from our hips. We come down, pyramid posture. Inhale, lift that back foot. Shift that weight. Exhale, open it up. Whew, I'm gonna lose my balance here. Inhale. Exhale down, prayer squat. One more time. Inhale the lift. Exhale, drawing those elbows in. Inhale the rise. Exhale, turning to the right. Inhale, step that back foot in. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lifting that back leg. Exhale, twisting. Balancing half moon. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Twisting over to that left side. Step that back foot in, extending those legs, hinging forward. Exhale. Inhale to rise. Exhale to rotate. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. So straddle, forward fold. Here we go. Letting those moonflowers go. If that was a lot for your brain, that's totally cool. I find them really fun because they use both the left and right side part of your brain and that creative sense in your brain. So we're not just moving forward and back, we're moving side to side, and it really changes the practice. Let's walk our hands around that right leg, or left leg, my bad. Planting our hands firmly on the mat. Let's step our left foot back, pressing it back, downward facing dog. So first down dog of our practice, feel free to pedal it out. Take that dog for a walk, or maybe you like to rise and fall. But really playing around with the feet and ankle joints, seeing how that feels. Checking in with your hamstrings, pressing through all 5 fingers into your mat. Finding what we call Hasta Bandha, that hand lock. So really planting down through the hands, almost like a cupping sensation through the palm of the hands. I always explain it like gecko hands. We're gecko handing onto our mats. Let's inhale forward into our plank, dropping our knees. Exhale, half push-up, crocodile, chaturanga. Hold. Inhale. Exhale, press it back up. Press it back, child's pose. Let's do that one more time. Inhale forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Hold. Inhale. Exhale, press it back up. Child's pose. Let's curl those back toes under, press it back, downward facing dog. This time, option to keep the knees elevated. Inhale forward into your plank. Option to keep those feet elevated. Exhale, chaturanga. Chest coming down first. Inhale, lifting through heart center, drawing those shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, curling those toes under, press it back, downward facing dog. Let's do it one more time. Inhaling forward into plank. Option to drop the knees if you so choose. Exhaling down, chaturanga, keeping those elbows tucked to our sides, chest coming down first. Inhale to lift, coming up into upward facing dog, or you can go back to your cobra. Totally up to you. If we're in up dog, everything from our feet is lifted all the way up. Curling those back toes under, press it back. Downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and hop, step, or float our feet to the top of our mat. Slowly rolling up, one vertebrae at a time. Roll those shoulders. Okay, we should be feeling warm now. I hope you're feeling warm. Let's give ourselves a high five, give you a high five. All right, we got this. So let's go in, keeping with our moon theme. Let's continue with that. So we're going to inhale, arms come high overhead, interlacing our fingers, releasing our index finger or pointer finger, lifting our shoulders down and back into our spine, belly coming in nice and tight, finding that Uddiyana Bandha, that belly lock, pulling that belly up and in underneath that rib cage. Planting firmly through our feet, through our Pada Bandha. We're going to shift our hips up and over to the left as our hands go to the right. So we're staying lifted and we're opening up that left side body. So we just don't want to collapse into that side. We're really staying lifted. Arms are back beside our ears. So think biceps by our ears. Crescent moon. Here we go. Keeping that left side body open, shifting the hips to the left, upper body to the right. Breathing. Inhale, back up to center. Give your body a wiggle. Good. Inhale, lifting up out of the waist. Exhale, arms over to the left, hips off to the right. Keeping those biceps back by our ears. Keeping lifted through that side body. Stretching through that right side body, breathing into that right side body, finding space. Keeping that belly nice and firm, that Uddiyana Bandha that helps to protect our spine here. And inhale back up through center, give yourself a little wiggle. Okay, we're going to bring our hands, fists to our low back or to our sacrum, so that the hip bone right there. We're going to find a little gentle back bend as we begin our practice here. So a standing camel, drawing those shoulder blades down and back into our spine, bringing those elbows back towards each other. So we're really drawing those elbows back. So you'll see here, and then we draw those elbows back towards each other, finding that chest opening through the front of our shoulders. From here, we're shifting our weight into our toes, lifting up out of that waist, and we're shifting up and over, like we're going over a beach ball. So imagine drawing your body up and over a beach ball rather than just hinging into that low back. We want to protect that low back. So that's why we're keeping our hands here and we're just gently drawing up. From here, we're going to keep that chin tucked. So we don't want to drop that head back. We don't want to keep that head way, way forward. We want to keep the chin tucked just slightly, and we find that we find our throat lock right here, our Jalandhara Bandha. Our Jalandhara Bandha, so that's that throat lock, right? It's really associated with our throat chakra in that same sense. So we got to keep a little space. So imagine like a little tennis ball underneath your chin. That's the kind of space that we're keeping here as we're shifting up and over in this gentle back bend. Taking another inhale. Exhale, coming back up through center. Hinging from our hips, we come down and forward, allowing our hands to fall. Finding that forward fold. Option to use a block. Option to use hands on legs. Allowing ourselves to just let go, right? With every back bend, we need to have a forward bend to counterbalance ourselves. And those back bends can be quite opening, right? They really do open up all the major chakras at the front side of the body. So allowing ourselves that sense of safety and that ability to come back into that forward fold, that fetal style position, is so crucial to our energetic healing. So from here, we're going to go ahead and step our right foot back, finding lunge. Inhale, lift. So staying up and tall, lifted into your lunge. Now you have lots of hand options that you could choose. So you could have hands at heart center. You could have hands onto your hips, hands above your head. Totally up to you. You could even have goalpost arms. If maybe you want to have a little bit more opening through that chest, so maybe you choose those goalpost arms. Completely up to you. Okay. Kind of feels nice. So we'll go here. Let's go ahead and rotate to the right, planting that right foot down, arms float open. We find warrior two. From lunge, we come into warrior two, keeping that nice bend in that front knee. Think of that nice bounce. You want to see your big toe on the inside of that knee, arms extended out wall to wall. And if it's available to us, checking in, can you move your head side to side? And then looking out over that front arm. From here, we'll go ahead and rotate our arms down. We find side angle. Staying up and lifted in our side angle. Nice deep bend still through that front knee. We haven't changed much about the knee. And let's go ahead and add a little bit of flow here. Let's inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale. Find your own rhythm and flow here between your reverse warrior and your side angle. It feels so lovely to get that movement through our abdomen, that side to side, that lateral movement. And holding strong in our side angle. So I promised you tonight that we're going to work on some binds. So from here, we're going to come into bound side angle, taking that top arm, we drop it down behind our back. That bottom arm reaches down and under, and we reach towards our hands. Now you can continue here with no strap. If you can reach your hands, if you can't reach your hands, that's totally cool to continue in that same motion, trying to reach towards your hands. You do not have to use a strap. I like to use one because it does come in handy. So if you're using a strap, you're going to drop it down behind you with that back arm. The bottom arm, you reach it under, and you're going to walk your hands towards each other. Now, you don't want to be bent completely forward. Keeping that bend in that front knee, we're keeping that chest open here, rotating open, bound side angle. Now, you always have the option to not do any binding. That's completely okay. But I'm just giving you options, something different to try, maybe something that we're not as familiar with. Option to stay here in bound side angle, or option to come a little further and test your balance in a bird of paradise. So if we're doing bird of paradise, we're going to step that right foot in or that long foot in. We're still bound here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stand up. Whew. Let's find that balance. All right, standing up. Once you've got your stand up, then you can go ahead and extend that leg out nice and long. We find bird of paradise. Breathing. If you fall out, using that yogi determination, that yogi strength, getting back at it, keep trying. Whew. And slowly bring that foot back in, planting that foot back down, step it back, bound side angle. You can release the bind. Let's cartwheel our hands down to the mat, step it back, downward facing dog. Whew, you made it through our first bind. Good job. That was difficult and that was so much fun. I love postures that challenge us and make us step outside of that comfort zone, things that we may not have otherwise tried. And knowing that it's totally okay if it wasn't available to us today. We're meeting ourselves with where we're at, giving ourselves a direction, something to aspire to. There's no requirement to be able to do it. The only requirement that I ask is that you show up and that you try. Let's go through a little flow. Inhaling forward, plank. Exhaling, chaturanga, crocodile. Inhaling, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. One more time at your own pace. So I'm not going to walk you through it. I will do it though. Let's go. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog. We're going to lift our right leg up high towards the sky. Step it on through. We find lunge, inhale, lift. So now we should be on the other side. And I'm going to turn so that I can see you on the other side. So we're inhale, lunge. We're elevated. Wonderful. Beautiful lunge here. Any of those hand options that we first talked about. And let's go ahead, drop that left heel, open it up, warrior two. So that knee falls out. You can see that big toe on the inside. Let's check that head. Can you move it side to side? Okay, wonderful. Can you look out over that front arm? Feeling strong and grounded in our warrior two. We can always come back to warrior two. It's a safe space for us. It's a comfortable place. If arms are too much, we can always drop them. Let's cartwheel those arms coming into our side angle. Staying strong and lifted, elevated. Inhale, warrior two to reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Let's flow that. Inhale. Moving with your own breath here as we inhale and rise and as we exhale and fall. One more time. And let's find stillness in our side angle. Now coming into bound side angle, dropping that top arm overhead. We're going to drop it behind our back. Our right arm reaches down and under. We're reaching for two hands to come into one direction. If you're like me and our arms just don't stretch like that yet, I say yet because maybe one day they will, but let's hold hope, right? We're going to take our strap. We're going to drop it around behind us And we are going to grab on and walk those hands towards each other. Now, chest forward. Let's open up that chest. Press those hips forward. Opening up. Option to stay here in bound angle. Bound side angle, right? We can choose to stay here. We can choose to just hold side angle. If you want to come a little further and challenge yourself a little bit more, let's try bird of paradise on this side. Let's step that left foot in, keeping bent through that right leg. Let's go ahead and stand up. Once we're up, we extend that leg up. Holding, staying lifted and elevated, using that yogi determination, that yogi strength. If we fall out, keep trying. Wonderful, so nice. Bring that foot back in. Let's plant it back down, step it out, letting go of that bind. Cartwheeling those arms down to the mat. Let's step it back, downward facing dog. Whew. Wonderful, challenging, beautiful job. Let's do 2 mini flows so you know what we're doing. 2 mini flows will meet in downward facing dog. If you're not quite sure, you can choose to follow along, but I'm just going to do it and not walk you through. I'm going to allow you to find your own rhythm and flow. Let's go. Breathing into our downward facing dog. Let's pick that left foot up high towards the sky and we're going to open it up to the right hand side, finding our 3-legged dog. Coming back into our down dog, let's do the other side. Pedal it out for a second. Now let's lift that right leg up high towards the sky, opening it up to the left-hand side of the room. 3-legged dog. So allows a little traction in through that hip flexor, your obliques. There's so much going on here. Inhaling back through center, coming back into your downward facing dog. Let's lift that right leg up high towards the sky and let's step it on through, finding lunge. Inhale to lift. We're going to come into a prayer twisting lunge. So we're going to bring our left elbow to the outside of our right knee. Prayer twisting lunge. So we want to make sure that we're not pressing on our knee, using it to twist us. So that twist is coming from deep within the belly. You always have the option to drop down to a back knee if you so choose. Wonderful. Let's come back to center. Bring our hands to the inside of that right leg. Drop that back knee and we'll find our lizard posture. So coming elbows down towards the mat, you have that option to drop a block underneath your elbows if you're not quite at the mat. Or you can just simply work on bending through those elbows. Finding that deep inner thigh stretch. Keeping that belly pulled up away from your mat. Drawing that navel in. And then keeping that Jalandhara Bandha, that throat lock here as we imagine a little tiny, or not tiny, little tiny baseball underneath your chin. So you've got, you're gazing out slightly in front of you. Wonderful. Let's take our hands to either side of that right leg. Press it on back, finding a beautiful hamstring stretch here. Wonderful. Breathing into the back of that hamstring. We'll shift our weight back forward into that right leg. Let's step that left foot up nice and long, stepping back. Pyramid posture. So if our hands aren't quite touching the floor, we could use a block. We could do hands on the thigh. Completely up to you. Really breathing some space into the back side of that right leg. Maybe we allow that forehead to drop down towards the knee. If we're looking for more of a challenge, you can choose to walk those hands out nice and long into a prayer position out long overhead. If you want more of a challenge, close your eyes in this posture. Let's take a nice deep bend through that right knee. Let's cartwheel our arms up, opening up that left foot up to the side. We find Warrior Two. We know Warrior Two. We've done this before. Extending nice and long through that front leg, shifting the hips off to the left-hand side of the room. Imagining like a baby on that hip. We're going to cartwheel those arms. We find triangle. Option to stay here in triangle. Or do you know what I'm going to say today? Remember what the theme of the day is? We're doing some binds. So option to stay in triangle or option to come into a bound triangle, right? So we drop that top arm behind us. That bottom arm reaches under. We go two hands reaching towards each other. Come into that bound triangle. Option to use a strap. It comes around. Dropping down, grabbing onto that strap wherever it may fall and opening up that chest. Seeing how that feels. If this doesn't feel right for your body or feel good in your body, don't feel like you need to do a bind. We can still stay in triangle. We don't have to do any kind of a bound angle. The nice thing about the binds is they begin to open through that shoulder space that we're not always acclimated to opening through. Pressing those hips forward, we begin to open through our rear haunches. So you should feel that in the side body a little bit, maybe. And let's go ahead and release that bind. Walking our hands around that long edge, turning both hands on to face the left-hand side of the room. Coming into our standing forward fold, right? Our standing straddle forward fold. Let's go ahead and take our right arm over to our left ankle. And our left arm can either come out behind us or can come over to that left ankle as well. Just noticing what that feels like. Maybe you want to bend and extend that left leg a couple times. Or maybe you bend and extend the right leg a couple times. Trying different things out, right? See what feels good. Let's take that left arm this time over to the right ankle, right arm either over to the right ankle or above, your choice. And try bending and extending the left knee or the right knee, see what feels good. Walking those hands back around that right foot, step it back, downward facing dog. Let's go through 2 full flows here. At your own pace, we'll meet in our down dog. This time, let's take our left leg up high towards the sky. We'll step it on through. Let's find that lunge. Inhale to lift, hands to heart center. Taking that right elbow, we're going to come over to the left knee. prayer twisting lunge. So making sure that that twist is coming from that belly, not from our arms. So we're not ranking with our arms. We're twisting from that belly and finding our arms just happen to fall here. Breathing into that beautiful prayer twist. You've got this. So lovely to open through those legs. We need a lot of love for those legs. They carry us all day long. So let's practice some grace and gratitude and allow our legs to just simply relax into our practice, to receive from us for once, right? Let's inhale back to center. Exhale, hands down to your mat, dropping that back knee. We're going to find lizard posture. So walk that left foot out a little bit, hands to the inside. Option to bend the elbows a bit, or option to bring that block back down. So I'm going to turn so you can see me again. So your choice here. Elbows, bending the elbows. I like the bending the elbows because I can kind of bounce in and out of it. Totally up to you. Keeping that belly tucked in nice and tight. Let's walk our hands over, both over our left foot, extending long through that left hamstring on the left leg, keeping the toes planted here, breathing into that left hamstring here. So really practice some of that breath. Seeing if you can find some space in that hamstring. Again, if our hands don't quite meet the ground, we can always use a block, or we can use the hands onto that thigh. Practicing that balance, your choice. Let's go ahead and bend into that front knee, tucking those back toes under, stepping it up, pyramid posture. So same thing, option to walk those hands forward, tucking that forehead down towards our knee. And if we want this to be a little bit more difficult, we can bring two hands into that prayer position. Even more difficult, close those eyes. Let's take a nice deep bend through that front knee. We'll cartwheel our arms up and we'll find warrior two as we heel toe open. So I'm going to turn so I can see you and you can see me. So we're in that beautiful warrior two. Once again, let's extend that front leg long. Shift the hips off to the right, baby on the hip. Cartwheel those arms, triangle posture, staying strong and tall, lifted here. Now, option to come into that bound triangle. Drop that top arm. Reach that bottom arm up and under. Rotate open. Or use your strap. Drop it down. Grab on. Nice long legs. Then we rotate that shoulder, that side body open. Happy smiling faces. We're loving this practice. Isn't this just so amazing that our bodies can carry us through this practice? So practicing that gratitude for our bodies and for ourselves not giving up, continuously trying. Keep on trying. It's like the story of the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can. Right? Whether you believe you can or you can't, you are correct. So let's think ourselves into, I think I can. I know I can. Option to come out of the bind at any time. We know this. This is our body. This is our practice. We're the ones that are receiving. Let's release that bind. Cartwheel those hands down to our mat, walking them along that long edge of the mat. This time, we're turning to face the right-hand side of the room. Sit bones high. Let's turn those toes in, heels out, toes in. From our forward fold position, we're going to shift our weight into our toes. Noticing as we shift that weight into our toes, our sit bones maybe rise a little higher. Do you feel the stretch in your extensors on the outsides of your calves? If not, maybe we need to shift the weight into our hands and toes a little more, finding that hasta bandha in through the hands, that gecko style grip. Allowing the back side of the body to release as the front side of the body supports it here. Let's turn those toes back to parallel with our ankles, taking a nice deep bend through our knees, lifting our upper body up. We find our prayer squat, turning the toes out, turning the knees out, bringing that heart center to rise. Prayer squat, nice, deep, beautiful squat. You can always do this shallower. You could be up here in your prayer squat. Totally up to you. Let's turn our body back over that front leg. Hands down to our mat. Step it back, downward facing dog. Give your body that stretch. Let's drop those knees, press it back. Child's pose. Now, in child's pose, let's allow those forearms to completely drop. Maybe you bring them down on either side of your body. Let's just let our body feel child's pose. Feel the weight of our forehead down into our block, our mat, our fists, whatever it is that we're grounding our forehead down into today. Feeling the weight on our feet as they ground and plant down into our mat. The weight of our arms as they fall heavy. Noticing the travel, the root of our breath. Can we feel that lower abdomen? Can we feel between our ribs and into our intercostal muscles? Rather than just breathing in the upper part of our chest. Focusing on that space between your eyebrows. Bringing into your mind's eye something that you are grateful for here today. Allowing that feeling of thankfulness and gratitude to fill your entire being. Let's go ahead and extend our arms out nice and long. Beginning to slowly come up. Sitting our sit bones back onto our heels. We'll find hero posture. So we have that option to elevate up onto a block if you'd like. You also have that option to stack your toes and sit up nice and tall in your hero posture here. So in hero, we're going to do some more shoulder opening, some more arm opening, and we're going to come into our cow face pose. So cow face is really the arm gestures that we're doing. You have the option of using your strap, or you can just use your arms. Totally up to you. So we're going to start right hand, inhale, lift it up high towards the sky. Let's drop that hand down and back. Taking that left hand, we're going to wrap it around. You're looking to grab on to two hands. So if we're not quite grabbing, you can choose to take that strap in that top hand, drop it down behind you, grab onto your strap, and walk your two hands towards each other as close as it feels like you can. Now you might notice that your arm drops like this. So we really want to bring that elbow up, stretch that chest forward as we come into this space in our cow face pose, keeping that that belly pulled in nice and tight, right? Keeping that Jalandhara Bandha, so our head is not going back, it's not tucked all the way forward. We've got that nice baseball-sized gap underneath our chin to our chest. That Uddiyana Bandha, that pulling that belly back and up underneath the rib cage, belly in nice and tight, using all of our core strength to keep our body up tall. Breathing. So much to think about, right? This is why we got these reminders here. Let's go ahead and relax that down. Whew. It's a lot on the shoulders. Give them a little wiggle. Maybe let's do some figure eights. Figure eights with those shoulders. Give them a little moment. So figure eights we do, thumb guides us in an 8, number 8 position. All right, I'm gonna grab a little sip of water before we do the other side. All right, other side. Let's inhale. Left hand up high towards the sky, dropping it down behind us. Our right arm comes around to meet it. We walk those hands towards each other. Same thing here. You can see on me, this one, my hands don't quite meet. I can either stay there trying to strive and achieve the hands to meet. No requirement to use a strap. Or you can choose to use a strap if you so choose. Dropping it down, grabbing on, and you walk those hands towards each other, sitting in our hero pose, up nice and tall. Checking in, belly lock, Uddiyana Bandha, pulling that belly up and under that rib cage. Do I have my Jalandhara Bandha, right? Do I have my throat lock where my chin is slightly tucked, but we're not tucked too far? Breathing into that heart space, finding that breath as we're up nice and tall. Now let's slowly release our cow face. Shake it up. Let's do those figure eights once again. Figure eights. All right. We've got a theme here, right? We know we're doing some binds, some shoulder opening, some heart center opening, some throat chakra opening. There's a whole lot going on here tonight in our practice. So let's go ahead and come into camel posture. So from hero, we're going to rise up onto our knees, taking those knees underneath our hips. So, sorry, I should show you from the front. Your knees are underneath your hips, drawing that line straight down. Not too narrow, not too wide. So if you find your hip bones come straight down, check and see, my knees are there. Now this time, same thing. Hands come to that low back. Let's draw those elbows towards each other, opening through that chest. From here, let's lift up and over that beach ball, drawing that belly in, pressing the hips forward. Option to stay here. So what this looks like from the side is just like this. Nice, beautiful camel back bend. We're not shifting into our back. We're not arching into our back. We are up and over that beach ball, drawing those elbows towards each other. Keeping that Jalandhara Bandha. Head's not all the way back and it's not all the way forward. It is tucked right here. We've got that baseball size gap underneath our chin. Option to go a little further. Maybe you choose to reach back for those heels in your camel posture, pressing the hips forward, keep that Jalandhara Bandha. We're still looking at the wall slightly in front of us, pressing our hips forward, opening through that chest. At any time you can go into child's pose. Please feel free. Bring your hands back to our hips if we were down on our feet, shifting those hips back to our feet. And let's extend forward, child's pose. Grounding down. Finding any variation of child's pose that resonates with you. You're doing amazing. Child's pose is that place to remind us just how amazing we are. Let's extend those arms nice and long forward. Inhaling onto all fours. Let's shift our hips off to one side. Bringing our legs around front, we find our staff pose. Sitting up nice and tall in staff. Let's inhale up nice and tall. Exhale down and forward, allowing our hands to fall wherever they might choose to fall. Tucking that forehead down towards our chest. Just noticing the line of pull here. Can you flex your feet? Does that change that line of pull in the backside of the body? With each exhale, can you allow your arms to relax a little further? Can you allow that forehead to relax a little further? Can you round a little bit more down and just let it all go? Good, slowly coming up, one vertebra at a time. Wonderful, let's come into our Lotus Pose. So part of binds is not always about our upper body. So let's go to half lotus first. So one leg stacked on top of the other, half lotus. So let's stretch out our hip rotators before we go into a full lotus, allowing some grace and gratitude to our knees. So if we're finding that we are in half lotus and we're not quite able to get that foot up, we need a little bit more space for our hips. Elevating your hips on a block or on a bolster, a pillow, roll your mat over a couple times, maybe you have another mat. Elevating those hips up creates a little bit more space for those hips. So this is a nice trick if you're having a hard time finding the hip space here. So from here, to help release those hip rotators, let's inhale, arms up high towards the sky, exhaling down and forward, reaching, extending those arms down and forward. So you should feel this in through your hip rotators on whatever leg is on top. So for me, for example, this would be my right leg. You can feel this into my right hip rotators. Good, walking slowly back and in. Let's try the other side. Take the other leg that wasn't on top, on top. Inhaling, arms up high towards the sky. Let's exhale, down and forward. And just simply beginning to notice which side feels a little bit more tight than the other. And it's really important to notice things like this because in our yoga practice, we really do train both sides to balance out the body. But maybe in your everyday life, maybe you need to stretch that tighter side a little bit extra to help it come up to the same level of tightness, to the same level with the other side. When we're doing static stretching after a workout, we always recommend that you stretch the tight side twice. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the same recommendation here, is that maybe you go ahead and pause the video and stretch the tight side twice. Slowly come back and in. Okay, so we're going into our full lotus now. If you choose, you can go back into half lotus, stretch out the other side if you'd rather, or you can try full lotus. So full lotus, one leg on top, then we're gonna bring the other leg on top. Okay, this is full lotus. So you'll feel this as a bind. Now, this is not for everybody. So maybe you, like I said, stick with your half lotus. Totally up to you. Now, if you're in full lotus, you can choose to just simply stay here. If you want to add a little challenge, maybe you're going to elevate your hips. So hands coming to your sides, elevating those hips. Can you rock? I'll show you what that looks like from the side. I'm going to turn so you can see. On the side, planting those hands. We elevate those hips up. Using that core strength to keep elevated here. And slowly lower down. Let's shift those legs out. And if you did half lotus on one side, let's try half lotus on the other. If you did full lotus on one side, let's do full lotus on the other, because it really does feel different depending on which leg is where. Turn back to the front. So you can see happy smiling faces, full lotus, one foot slipping out. And slowly lower down. Let's undo our bind. Whew. It's a lot on our joints, a lot on our body tonight. Grabbing onto the back side of your knee, rolling into the mat, bringing those knees in towards our chest, allowing yourself to rock and roll it out. Let it go. Let's get a little counter action in through those hips, because we just stretch them so much. Let's plant those feet, extending up into a bridge pose here. Option to walk those hands underneath, clasping your hands, coming into another bound bridge. No requirement though to bring those hands underneath. And slowly release. We're just going to hold it for a second. One vertebrae at a time, but I want you to imagine like you're laying your spine as a ribbon down gently, gently onto your mat. And then bring those knees back into the chest. Let's rock it out. Keep your ankles a roll. Other direction. Extending one leg out, then the other. Rolling those shoulders down and open. Hands, palms fall to our sides. We find our Tadasana, our corpse pose, our final relaxation. Drawing the awareness inside, we soften our gaze or close our eyes, whatever is more comfortable to you. Allowing yourself to find the awareness of your breath. To find the awareness inside your body at this very moment, here in this space on your mat. Not thinking about tomorrow or yesterday. Staying present in this moment, here today. So as you go into your final relaxation, I'm going to read to you a little chakra meditation for your throat chakra. So to open our throat chakra, you'll need a lot of air. Opening up through the throat chakra is easy. You simply need to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In and out. Take 10 deep, long breaths. Count them in your mind. In and out. If you lose count at any point, feel free to start back at 1. There's no requirement to make it to the full 10. If you make it to 10, start back at 1. See if you can lengthen that breath. In and out. When your lungs have become filled with air, begin slowly going down through your body, starting from the top of your head as you go. Imagine each muscle relaxing and letting go. Let go in your mouth, let go in your throat, let go in your chest, let go in your belly, let go in your hips, Let go in your thighs, letting go. Once your entire body has relaxed, slowly travel back to your throat. Visualize your throat chakra. You see a blue spinning ball at the throat level. As this ball spins, you will see it glowing and expanding. The ball glows and spins faster and faster. It draws energy. All the energy that you were holding in your muscles has gone into this blue ball. This bright blue ball. The more the ball grows, the more relaxation you feel in your throat. The more you can breathe in. When the ball grows too big for you to hold on to, remember, you can let it go. Feel all the pent-up energy inside that ball expand and flow through your body. Taking a few more deep breaths here as we breathe in and out through our body. Deep, long breaths. We slowly begin to awaken through our eyes, blinking them several times, allowing some softness to come into our gaze. Let's wiggle through our fingers and our toes, rocking our neck side to side. We'll roll our wrists and our ankles. Bring our awareness back into this space. We'll slowly begin to roll onto a side body here before we slowly make our way up to an easy seated position near the top of our mat. Thank you so much for graciously sharing your practice with myself tonight. The light in me bows, honors, and truly cherishes the light in you. Namaste.